Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Big T today. My name's Frank Vespi. I'm with the Racing Biz, theracingbiz.com. Check us out online, by the way, if you want to keep up with Mid-Atlantic Racing. To my right, Dave Rodman, track announcer here at Timonium and creator of the proprietary algorithmic
dog figs derived from derivatives.
and Bitcoin.
And Bitcoin.
And Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So the dog figs. We're all about the dog figs. Dave?
Yep.
We have reached the final day of the meet here at Timonium, Maryland State Fair, continuing next week. And talking about next week, let's take a quick look ahead for a moment. After this, racing going to shift to Pimlico next weekend through the end of the month. Got stakes at Pimlico on Saturday the 10th and Saturday the 24th. Racing going to go to Laurel Park after that through the end of the year. Highlight of the Laurel Park meet, October 22nd. That is Maryland Million Day, Dave. But lots of things going on in Maryland over the next couple of months.
Yeah, the racing scene will shift here from the fair back to Pimlico, historic old hilltop there, and it'll be, 3 days a week, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That's correct.
For 3 weeks. Am I correct? And then
I
we go
believe
back
so.
to Laurel. And then we'll shift, I believe, pretty much to a 4-day schedule during the fall. And as you mentioned, the Maryland Million, it's already time to think about some cooler weather, some exciting racing, and Maryland's day at the races at Jim McKay, Maryland Million.
Yes, yeah, always a fun day, always a highlight of the racing year here in Maryland. Now, Big T meet closing today. Let's quick look. Jockey standings. Looks like it's going to be Angel Cruz. He has 10 wins thus far. Jairon Barbosa has 7, is the nearest pursuer, so he would need a big day to catch up to Angel Cruz. On the trainer front, Anthony Ferrier has secured the point title. Georgia Ann Hale, our racing secretary here, has a point system, and Ferrier has secured that for the larger barns. I understand the smaller barn title still up in the air, but congratulations to Anthony Ferrier for coming in first past the post among the larger barns there. So, Dave?
Nice bonus money for the trainers to help the meet go, make the meet go here. So, yeah, Anthony Ferrier has been a big supporter. You see horses at almost every race for him, but leading in number of wins is Brian Brooks, correct?
Brian Brooks has 4 wins to lead by wins. Ferrier and some others have 3 each.
McMahon with 3, Saray 2, Rob 2. Yeah, so the wealth has been spread around pretty much.
The wealth has been spread around, and the wins title, which gets you bragging rights, still up in the air. Brian Brooks 4 for 14 coming in, I believe, so winning at a solid clip. And Dave, we got 8 races on the docket today, including a really fun 2-year-old maiden race that I think is going to go with 9 horses, and then a third level allowance is the feature today. That's race 7. Some really salty competitors in there.
Yeah, I like that 2-year-old race, a big field as you mentioned, and horse coming in after one run at Saratoga on a muddy track from Mike Trombetta on the far outside. Barzini, love the name.
Great name.
Got to watch some Godfather movies on the
Did you do that
stream
to get
tonight.
Prepared for today's
a
card?
couple of clips.
Not the full movie, but maybe a few clips. All right, let's dive into today's 8-race Timonium card, starting off with 10,000 beaten claimers, going 6.5 furlongs. That's 2 turns here. And a theme of the meet, Dave, has been you and I agreeing more or less on the horses that are going to be there at the end, but sort of jumbling them up a little bit. And that's how we start the card here. I go with 3 Golden Aviator. You go with Accelerator, the 2 horse.
Well, in looking at race originally, it looked like there were pretty much kind of 3 speed horses in there. The 3, the 4, maybe the 5. Pace would be lively. The 4 is scratched, but I'm going to still stick with an off-the-pace runner in here. And you're going with perhaps who's going to be maybe the speed of the speed is going to try to stay, and that's Golden Aviator. But I went Accelerator just to his inside, won't be up front, hoping for a good pace up front. A good second, outgame Stormy Bonnie for the place last time out. Behind Hefner, who's we are familiar with here in Maryland. He's been a winner down at Laurel, I believe, a couple of times. And he's beaten the 6-5 morning line favorite before, Know How I Know. Beat him by a nose. That was in a sloppy track back in May. Being by Exaggerator, I would love if that rain came here before the first, but it's not going to happen, you know, because he is moved up, I think, by an off track. But I think maybe if the speed is quick enough, he can sit the trip today. Not sure of that, but I think your pick maybe is the perhaps maybe the speed in here, Golden Aviator, of the 3 speed horse. He's pretty quick early.
Well, that was my thought process here. Golden Aviator looks to me to be the speed of the speed. Raul Mena, who has not ridden here so far, comes in for the mount. The Mike Gorham barn has had a productive meet at the Big T, in the money, 5 out of 5, I believe, if I can read my form properly here, including a couple of wins. So I'll look for Mena to be a little bit aggressive out of the gate, try and get to the front and go gate to wire. One of the things I like about Accelerator that you may have mentioned, but he's a 3-year-old here. He only fits the condition because he is a 3-year-old. It's 3-year-olds or older horses that have never won 3 races. He's won 3, but he fits as a 3-year-old. It's a little bit of a subtle advantage sometimes for horses that have won a little bit more than some of these 2-win types.
Yeah, early in his career, I thought he was going to be a much better horse than the Claimer. But he's had his ups and downs, you can see by his spotty form lines there. But the last 3 races since the Claim, I believe maybe that they've kind of figured him out. A second, a third, and a second, and that was against some decent company there, including a Money Code, lengthy winner named Vinny, and of course the aforementioned Hefner, multiple winner here in Maryland.
All right, 2.536 for Dave, 3.25 for me in the lid lifter at Timonium. Kind of see the race similarly, just how it ends a little differently. All right, let's head to race 2. These are 2-year-old fillies, maiden 25s, going 6.5, 2 turns here. You're going to take out the number 1 horse in this spot, OU1 out of race 2. And Dave, we both agree that Miss Fussy Pants is where to look.
Yeah. She's appropriately named. She's had trouble in her debut, good second there in her second run, a little bit of improvement in each and every way. Then the third race, she was fractious in the gate and pretty much lost it in the starting gate. Threw a minor fit in the gate, not enough to scratch her, but she was acting up a little bit. They finally got her settled down, then she just didn't run a jump. So she lost her, and whatever mojo she had in the gate that day for trainer Ham Smith, but Hammy didn't mind because he had 2 in the race. And here comes Alas and Alack, the other Ham horse, who I think paid a decent price that day. So Ham had him surrounded. Maybe a little better behavior today. So that's the only thing I'm concerned about, is how she's going to act in the post parade, how she's going to act in the starting gate. I just went ahead and picked her on top. I think Galactic Tide, maybe speed danger in the spot. I mentioned this on the show the other day, that Spencerian race, pretty good pace for maiden special, 2 back July 30th at Laurel. That projects her on or near the lead where she was last time out, dueling and then finished second to Another Day Gone By here at the Big T last week for Courtney Young. And threw in the first-time starter from the Jerry Robb barn by Mosler in Dad's Wallet, $80,000 earner of 7 of 35 wins. A half to a very fast horse.
In DC Fireman.
DC Fireman,
yeah.
I don't know if anybody remembers DC Fireman, but that was 5 alarm speed for sure early.
Ooh, that was good.
Oh, I know.
You
have to be listening. You have to be listening here.
Got to be quick.
Yeah.
Got to be quick to keep up with Dave.
All right.
DC Fireman won 3 of his first 5 starts.
He was very quick.
He hit the ground
precocious.
running.
Yep. Here's my question. Maybe you can answer it.
Doubtful, but we can try.
Okay. She should be fast, right? She's in for maiden 25. Is she fast or so fast? I mean, being a half to or to a horse that quick.
No, that's a fair question. I think the thing, though, with the Robb barn is, one, they're very realistic about horses. If she's not a maiden special, they're not going to fool around trying to make her one.
Okay.
And 2, maybe they're trying to take a little bit of an angle here, in that as a Mosler,
she's a homebred. She's a homebred. Yeah. So that they're putting her up for what they think they think she's worth, right?
And if they're wrong, if she's better than that, there's a pretty good chance they bring her home at the end of the day anyway. So I think it's pretty realistic handling. I wanted to go back to Miss Fussy Pants for a second. The other thing interesting, Toledo doesn't ride here a lot. but Hammy gets the hot riding Bug Boy Barbosa up on this horse, who is second with 7 wins here, had a win yesterday. So that seemed like a good thing. And by the way, a really, really good effort from the 5-horse Galactic Tide last time. Dueling with the winner there, Another Day Gone By, was even money. Goes on, they dueled, Another Day Gone By wins, but this horse sticks with it right to the wire. The only question in my mind about her was, does that take anything out of her? And now we've seen a lot of horses run back in a week, run well here at Timonium, but does that take maybe just a little bit out of her because it was a big try?
If there were another speed horse in the race that's maybe as fast as her, I don't know. And that's what we don't know, is the 2 very quick. The indication is that perhaps she is with a 101 Bullet Work best of 8 at Laurel for the Mosley Filler for Nita Marker. So that's the big question, and I can't answer it until those gates open.
Yeah. You'll have an answer for me right about 112, huh?
Right.
112, 113.
Yeah,
All right.
okay.
On to race 3 here at Timonium. Race 3, 6.5 furlongs, a starter, optional claiming for horses that have never won 3 races. And I think everybody's in here. No scratches in this one. Again, we see it somewhat similarly, a little bit different. You're gonna land on Free Square here, and you're hoping he is a free square for Jerry Robb out of a Saratoga start, while I grab Brother Conway. What do you see in Free Square?
Just the fact that he's very, very fast early. He's run with some good horses. He's either opened up on them or dueled with them, and actually ran down a good speed horse, Lantau, 2 races back. A Journey to Saratoga at 26-1, a little over his head, back with the kind of company he can win against today with a top performance. And they claimed him for 40,000. They really haven't given up on him. I know he's in for 32 today, but they do have a couple of wins out of him, right?
Right.
So if he is claimed back or claimed by somebody else, I guess they're fine with that. It's still a profitable venture for Lucky 7.
No, and Free Square, obviously it's a horse I'm using underneath as well. I landed on Brother Conway. I like a horse that's 2 for 4, and this horse. You look at the Beyer speed figures, he 36 on debut, then 56, 66, 72. So moving in the right direction, improving with each start for trainer Kenny Cox and Bonicelli Racing. And I just felt like this one might sit a nice trip, too. There's a couple speeds, could be right off it.
I did go back and look at that replay this morning just to refresh my memory. I remember he won pretty easy. Actually, he settled right off of speed, made a bid to the front, made the lead, was headed in mid-stretch. Looked like he was beat, and then he came back to grab the lead. And then after that, he rebroke and had another gear. So he's in hot form right now and on an upswing. I could have flipped him. 5 and 8. You went with the 8.
I went with the 8. You went with the 5. I had the 3. Holy Synchronicity underneath. So you have the 6 and 3rd, Mr. Mox. Is this a Ferris Allen wheel play?
Well, I'm hoping to get one in before the end of the meet. Come on, Ferris. This horse was claimed back in January. He's had a little bit of rough luck. He had a good trip against 40,000 claimers, 3 back, and a race that would fit here. So I think his best clip is maybe to come from off the pace. I know he's had speed in the past, but I don't think he's going to beat any of the speed like a Holy Synchronicity or a Free Square toward the early pace, at least for half mile. I think maybe he can just sit a trip, maybe get a good trip, and with any luck he can win it, but at least hit the board in this spot. That's the reason I used him. I do like his race 3 back, but he's not been able to replicate that. He got beat by Free Square next out.
Yep. No, and then the last couple just a little bit blah. Needs to bounce back to his better form. But Dave going 5-8-6-1 in the 3rd, 8-3-5-2 for me. You should probably stick with Dave's picks as a general rule.
I don't think so. Okay.
Let's head to race 4. This is a fun race. A maiden 40,000 claimers, going 6.5 furlongs. Had a field of 10. You're going to want to take out the 1 River Full, which is just a cruel blow for me because I was betting River Full in this spot. So I kind of default to Barzini. You pick I Know. Let's talk about I Know for trainer Gina Perry. Pretty good effort on debut.
I know. 5.5 furlongs debut. I think that was a little too short for this horse. A good, solid second there at 18-1 at Laurel for maiden 30. I don't think this group's really much tougher. It's in for that maiden 40 tag today. Longer, top and bottom by Overanalyze out of a Smart Strike mare, Chic Soiree, who was a 2-time winner on the dirt going 1 mile. So stretching from 5.5 to 6.5, and you get the barn that's found its mojo in the last few months.
Yeah, no, they've
yeah, the Gina Perry barn doing well. Actually, they claimed a horse, same connections here the other day, looking to build their stable. So I think the longer the better. Is he good enough to beat the 10, your top pick, and I second pick? Don't know. I guess we'll find out. We don't know.
210.
We don't know Barzini. I mean, he had a testing trip, didn't he, for the first-time starter? First of all, it was Saratoga mud. No blinkers, gets blinkers on today. Jeremy's Jet was a convincing winner. Interesting short comment too. Paused 4.5.
Yeah, that is an interesting
4 or 5
comment,
wide at the quarter. So everything kind of went not his way, but he managed to finish third.
Now, the one thing, and as I said, I defaulted into this horse, and this is a race where I would definitely be looking at the odds and kind of trying to look for some value here, because my fear here is that this horse is going to get bet as if he came out of a Saratoga maiden special weight with all the big beasts in it, and that's not what he came out of.
Right, exactly.
This was
was a restricted race.
Restricted to horses that had sold for, I think it was $75,000 or less, something like that, at auction. And, at Saratoga, a lot of times the horses you're seeing sold for hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. This wasn't that race. And the 4 horses that have come out of that race, they're 0 for 4. None of them has finished in the money. And it almost makes me wonder if the connections kind of we're thinking, oh, yeah, we ran really well in a Saratoga maiden race. We can go anywhere. This is a very realistic spot. I do like what Mike Trombetta is doing here with this horse. This is a realistic spot. This is where this horse probably fits, and probably ought to be a winning spot for this horse here. But I think it's a realistic way to handle it. Blinkers go on, Barbosa up.
And it's interesting ownership, too. 3 Diamonds Farm got a piece of them, and Marie Trombetta, right? So the pressure's on.
Yeah, right. No pressure, Mike. All right, so you're going
4-10, 3-5.
I'm going 10-2.
RB's the boss. I mean, I think we ought to mention him, right? Another horse that may like a little bit longer, 5.5 debut, good third. Just similar pattern as I know. I think I really like that race. His first race visually, it was a beat slow, fanned outside, then an even clip in the stretch, like a horse who wants to go a little longer. Is it 6.5 at the Big T? Is it a mile at Laurel? Not sure. Or 7/8 at Laurel, or maybe at Pimlico, just a plain flat 3/4 of a mile. He's got a little bit of talent.
Yeah, no, that's not a bad effort at all. I wouldn't hold that against the horse at all. I went in a little different direction with Read the Spec underneath for Del Capuano. Del Capuano 9 for 29 with 2-year-old first-time starters. What I thought was interesting, this horse has had some okay works. The breeding does not really scream win early. The Sibs are, none of the Sibs won at first asking, and they took at least 3 starts to break their maidens. This horse they had entered the other day, scratch, move on. So scratch and show up here. So I think a good place to land.
Okay.
Shall we head to race 5?
No. We got to mention Noah Chance, because people would think the horse had, we just ignored him.
Yeah, no, okay.
but he did show good early speed in debut.
Yep.
I know he stopped, but those are very fast fractions. The second time out for Jerry Robb. And there is that race, best sugar daddy ever. Our horse that cost a lot of people a lot of money yesterday, except for a few smiling faces in the winner's circle. Friends of ours.
Friends.
And what was the horse's name? The Army.
Yeah.
The Tim Salzman. Salzman.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, a lot of smiling faces down there. Congratulations.
Yeah. No,
thanks for the heads up.
3 of 4 out of that race have come back to run 1-2.
Yeah.
So looks like that might have been a pretty good heat. All right. Now we will head to race 5.
There we go.
This is another two-year-old maidens once again. This is maiden special weight, not maiden claiming. Got a field of 6, and everybody appears to be in. Dave going with a 6 on top.
Yeah. Blofeld gelding.
I ended up with a 4. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I just went the Blofeld angle, right? He's a hot sire. First-time starters are 5 for 28. 2-year-old first-time starters, 3 for 21. So, there's very few of them, and he's debuting here for maiden special weight, so I would think would have some ability. And at half mile, too, a lot of his runners have won a little shorter distances, short and speed and early. So I'm going to go for that. And a semi-hot barn here, the Kenny Cox barn, the last 60 days, 4 for 16. So this is one of the Kenny Cox horses I picked today, Silver Patron.
Yeah, this, as you said, Blofeld is, he's fixing to be the best sire around. All of his offspring are winning, and pretty impressive. I landed on the 4 here, Dave, lost weekend for Dale Capuano, and here's a throw your funnel cake up in the air stat for you. Dale Capuano with 2-year-old firsters, maiden special weight, 6 wins out of 14 starters.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost 50%. That's pretty good. This horse is a half to a stakes winner. Why not tonight? And also a horse named Blue Collar Boom, who is 2 for 2 in his brief career. So looks like some running genes there.
Great
notion.
Good note. Yeah, good note. I missed that. Yeah, I just had 3 other siblings, all winners.
All winners.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And all of them in the money first time out.
I didn't realize it was Blue Collar Boom. Yeah, so it makes this makes a very interesting race between these two debut runners who both have some pedigree to run early, win early. 6 and the 4. You went 4, I went 6.
All first-time starters in this race. So
right.
It's kind of all about pedigree, all about trainer patterns. So
yeah, all about picking the right horse if we can.
or the wrong horse, whichever you prefer. All right. You want to say anything about your underneath horses here?
Just kind of an interesting horse coming in from Charlestown, right? Shipping all the way down.
The one, Tony's Nacho.
Tony's Nacho. He's by Neolithic. Out of his top 20 progeny, this is weird, 5 of them have won first out.
Wow, that is interesting.
I don't know. He works at Charlestown, including what appears to be a pretty quick work for that 3 ace, and they're making the trek to the Big T against some pretty well-bred horses here. So
yeah, it is an interesting spot. I mean, one thing probably worth keeping in mind before sort of going crazy over it is Charlestown, not a ton of 2-year-old spots for horses that are not West Virginia bred.
Okay.
There are some, but
there's
not a ton of them. So it might just be running a race when you got a horse ready to run a race.
Bo Berman is a divining rod. Half mile might be a little short for that type of horse. A lot of the divining rods want to go a little longer. But Out of a Dam one more time again is a half to over something or other. You know the horse I'm talking about. One more great time.
Yeah, this horse
one
is
more
a half
great
to
time.
one more great
yeah,
time.
Who was very
stakes
quick.
place, $240,000 earner. Yep. And one of his 4 siblings won at first asking. So.
All right. I'm confused.
All right, good. Well, we did that. So
Thanks
race 5, 4, 3, 5, 6, 6, 4, 3, 1. You pick them. All right, race 6, starter optional, 6.5 furlongs. Horses that have never won 2 races. I go with the 9 on top. You go with the 8 on top. You don't use the 9 at all. So lay it on me.
Well, I just think that this filly's running against a little bit better. Dropping in that tag today. The race is 3 and 5 back. 4th place finish behind Bannister Warrior. 2nd behind Half is Enough. Would be good enough to compete in this spot today. I just think she's in a proper spot. She's going to be there. Grinder pressing speed type horse. And I kind of defaulted into her on top. Almost went to Shine Like a Diamond with the blinkers on and first off the claim for Dale Cap, who's 26% first off the claim, 9 for 34 and a positive ROI with blinkers on. Adding the blinkers and the claim.
All right.
So
that's a good
this
angle.
is an interesting filly here, and she'll be a better price, Shine Like a Diamond, then forget about it. I think if you're using multi-race wagers, probably have to use both. And your horse too. I would imagine that if you could convince me.
Let's see what we can do. So
Okay.
my flicker, first time in the Farrier barn, first off the claim from Ned Allard. And so this is a horse that ran second in 20 claiming company, decent try. That was only her second career, or third career start rather. Next time out, she ran fourth in an allowance at Delaware. This is a sneaky good race. She was slow start, kind of tracked and then didn't quite go on. The horse that won, Intrepid Daydream, is a horse that looks like a rocket ship. Has won
Is
two
that Gary
races.
Capuano horse?
It's a Gary
Okay,
Capuano
right.
horse. Won her second start by 16 lengths. Was off like a year. Came back. Wins here by 10. So that's 2 wins by a combined 27 lengths for that horse. Looks like she might be something kind of special. I don't think anybody in here is anything like Intrepid Daydream. So I feel like my flicker, we can draw a line through the turf race. It was actually okay, kind of an even effort, a little bit of a wide trip. Back on the main track, which is where I think she's better. First time for a barn that does well first off the claim. Easier spot than she saw, certainly 2 back. I feel like this is a horse that might be able to run, take a step forward.
Action, Andy's calling. He doesn't realize I'm actually working.
Or
Yeah.
maybe he's got a hot tip that we need to
I'm
know
sure
about.
he does, or he's probably whining about your horse yesterday. Did you see the Saratoga feature?
I did not.
The Belmont horse, the Rockhead horse that you love.
Oh, yeah.
Watch the replay. I don't want to tell you anymore.
All right, say no more, huh?
All
All right, so I go 9187, you go 8175. Let's head to the 7th, the feature today, third level allowance. These are some really fast horses going a mile on a 16th, 3 turns, Dave. We end up slightly different, but, similar enough. You're going to go with the very formful Ain't De Beer Cold.
Yeah, and as I mentioned in the 5th race, Kenny Cox, that first-time starter, silver patron. Last 60 days, the barn is 4 for 16. They're doing well right now, and this horse fits in this spot. I think he'll be reliable. Maybe to either try to go to the front or sit right off as Abracadabra in this race. Corcelli's a closer. The Poser, I think, is a closer, and I believe is a little better at a 1-turn anything. And now you've got a 3-turn mile and a 16.
This couldn't be more different from that.
Bust Off is capable of winning this race. This is the second race back after time away, reclaimed by Hugh McMahon. Claudio Gonzalez had him for a race, and that was the end of that. Took him right back. Got a couple of wins out of him since then, too. He's a really nice horse. Not sure, maybe he'll need one more, or maybe he'll be like Youngest of 5 yesterday and come back with his ultra best Dazzler. But horse that's recently run here, Ain't To Be or Cold. Good draw, really the closest speed to the rail.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ain't To Be or Cold here as well, but I ended up trying to beat him just for a little better price with the 4-horse Abracadabra. Really like the effort in that last one. That was a legitimate group of horses this horse beat. Magic Michael, a grade 3 winner. Monday Morning QB, a stakes winner, kind of on the comeback trail. So a couple of really, really solid horses. And he won that race pretty nicely. Fast early fractions, pulls away, goes on to win nicely. I think a very solid effort. That was his first time off the bench, off a 6-month layoff. Has the right even to go forward from there. So I think a very good effort for Abracadabra. I think he might be the controlling speed in this spot. And with Boca Chica, a bullring rider, probably get a little bit of an aggressive ride, like we were talking about Youngest of 5 got yesterday from Angel Cruz. Go to the front,
Yeah.
make him catch you, and that can be hard to do here at the Big T.
Beat a horse last time out who's 10 for 29 life, and Monday Morning Quarterback, who was 3rd. Winner of the Maryland Million Classic and a multiple stakes winner. So good field that he beat there at Delaware, but he's got to do it here at the Big T. So does Ain't To Be or Cold. Neither have tried here over the Big T track. Interesting race for a short
It
field.
is a fun race,
And
yeah.
if we see closers galore winning today, well, there's only one super closer galore, right? Corcelli.
Crachelli.
Yeah.
Crachelli would be expected to be basically nowhere early in the race and
he's
trying to pick him up.
Been kind of in and out lately, but he did run an in-race 2 back with the addition of blinkers on behind Soaring Bird in a 7-furlong race at Laurel. Race you couldn't see anything really. It was raining so hard, and so I don't know what to make of that. This is the 3rd time blinkers for a 7-year-old.
Yeah, and a good effort last time, I thought, running second to Ain't To Be or Cold. going
Yeah.
2 turns at Laurel. So you make a case for all of these, Dave. I think it's a really fun race and a really good feature to close the Timonium meet. But we close the Timonium meet, the final race. We go to the bottom, maiden 5, 6.5 furlongs. And, well, what the heck? We're going to take a swing.
Yeah, get your funnel cakes ready. Throw them in
Pickle
the air.
pizza, here we come.
Skip the Bull, wind up on the same horse here. 20-1 on the morning line. First time Rodolfo Sanchez Solomon barn. This perhaps colt makes his first run for Rodolfo Sanchez Solomon. I tell you this much. He might be in front for a quarter mile and stop, but I'm going to get a thrill out of it, darn it. Because he prompted a really quick pace at Charlestown. There were a lot of 7 furlong races that night, 23-2, and then just came to a complete stop and was walked off. But now he's under new barn here and drops, it was for a low level at Charlestown last time out, but for the bottom level again here today. Maybe a different horse, maybe something, maybe nothing.
Yeah, and it's a little bit, I think, Dave, both of us are kind of looking at the likely favorites in here and Call You Right Back 4-5 morning line and Playing Gold 5-2 morning line and saying, well, the one's 0 for 20, one's 0 for 18. They've had a lot of chances. They've had chances, at the bottom, haven't been able to get it done. Let's see if we can beat them and, get something a little spicy on top.
Yeah, the other horse I actually had on top initially was a one Keep North. He ran behind Mr. Mosley and prompted a good early pace in that race going a mile. It's only his second time out. Had learning experience there. Stopped as well, just like Skip the Bull did in his last. But Mr. Mosley came out of that maiden 10 to come back to win. So he beat a big favorite, Brown Delivers, that day. He came back to win again. He's, pretty useful horse pace-wise, and he's got inside draw. And second run here for Tony Aguirre. Casa Grande, originally, you toss the turf races, and we don't know what he can do at 6.5.
Yeah, he was going. They were sending him 4.5 at Charlestown. He clearly doesn't have 4.5 furlong speed, just outfooted in all of those starts. Kind of stuck with it okay.
Yeah.
It didn't close exactly, but didn't really lose ground as the race went on. So maybe move a little closer to the pace today going 2 turns.
14 lengths behind Mr. Mox and Buff Hello and Slots. Could get the job done here. I mean, that was 5 in debut at Pimlico back last midsummer in 2021.
Didn't Buffalo go on to win a Maryland Million race?
Yes, it did. Yeah, right. Exactly. And there's a chance of rain in the forecast, right, later today. I don't know if it's going to be, whether it'll be after the races are over or just before the last race or the 7th or whatever. But the sire is 14% on the wet track.
Kettle corn.
Keep that in the back of your mind
that's
for useless information.
Interesting but useless information.
Yeah.
That is what we specialize in. And that is the 8th race. We're both going with the 20-1 upset opportunity. Dave Rodman, it's been a pleasure working with you here during the Timonium meet.
It's been a lot of fun. We've had some winners. We've had some losers. We've had our
had a few laughs.
Yeah, that too. Not that anybody was laughing with us, but
you got to laugh at yourself sometimes, right?
All the time.
All right. Any final thoughts here?
Well, that's it. Everybody have a great meet, and thanks to all of our sponsors, our College Day and our Grooms Awards today. We have Willowdale Farm and Anthony Ferrier, 2 Grooms Awards today, 2 sponsors, giving a little something extra to the folks that really work hard, put on the game, bring the horses over. It's really a team effort. So thanks to all of our sponsors, and thanks to you too, the racing fans, most of all, really for supporting the meet. A big day yesterday here, handle-wise.
Yep.
So I think the meet is quite well here for the
nice crowds the last few days, and also want to say thanks to our team behind the cameras here, guys in the truck, John Levin here, Steve Martin. People in the racing office who work so hard to put this all together. All the people involved here putting on the race meet here at the Maryland State Fair at Timonium. For Dave Rodman, I'm Frank Vespi. That's going to do it for the final Big T today of 2022. I'll be back in a few with Callie Francois. Good luck today, everybody.
Good luck.